Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. We know who is watching and listening. And it's in an extremely loving way. Picture for a moment those of you who have children, perhaps that they're grown up. And perhaps they have lives of their own and they're living there. Every mother, every father loves that time when the child calls. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. I love you. There are some parents who sit by the phone or have it even close so that if that happens, they'll be sure and catch it. So if they're away, perhaps they'll have a way of taking the message or perhaps even having that live because they take their phone with them in a certain way. Do you see what I'm saying? Spirit sits by the phone. We know as soon as you tune in to these messages, it's almost like you made a phone call. And now we get to talk to you, and you get to talk to us in a way that's with the love that you have that goes both ways. Let us define compassion. Now, the definition of compassion from me will be different from anything you'll get in your dictionary, because we see compassion as the essence, literally, of the creative source. Love and compassion are the elements of God. Whatever you say God is, whether you call it spirit, creative source, or any name you wish, if you want to know the energy that is most central and most common and most powerful, love and compassion, those are the energies. Together, they form a benevolent kind of compassionate action. Let me give the definition we wish you to hear twice. I'll give it. Of how we see compassion. Compassion is the connection with the creative source, with God, with Spirit. It's the connection with Spirit that allows a meld of energy to happen for you. It would give you an open-heartedness, a mature benevolence, and understanding, full understanding of all that is around you. It's different, isn't it? So if you start to analyze that particular definition, you will see the sense of it and the logic of it, because it has several pieces and parts. The connection with Spirit will automatically connect you to your soul and give you a piece of that compassion you need, then to allow a meld with the energies of open-heartedness. With a mature benevolence, not an immature benevolence, a mature benevolence, something that you get from the connection with Spirit. And then goes into an understanding perception of what you're being compassionate about. That is a mature compassion. That is at the heart of everything we teach. The most common compassion would be compassion for others. In your life, as you walk around as a light worker or even an interested spiritual person, you have to understand that compassion is the catalyst for everything. Compassion is the thing that moves you into a state of peace that allows for healing. The healers, they'll talk about it as well. If you've ever talked to a healer and say, before you go into a healing session or you have another human report to you, whether it's long distance or in front of you, what do? And some will say, well, I meditate or I prepare myself. And then if you want to drill down a little more, say, well, what does that mean exactly? Prepare yourself. How do you prepare yourself? What do you do? And they'll start using language like this. I drop into my heart. I have a compassionate countenance. I clear my mind so that I can feel the love and the needs of the person I'm going to talk to. the one I'm going to balance so that they can heal themselves. This is the process for any healer on the planet, especially the ones that interface with other humans day after day, or give readings to the humans to help their heart to become less afraid and more peaceful. They prepare themselves. They drop into their heart. They throw away the intellect. They don't try to figure things out. They just are. Let me tell you something. How many inventors have you heard tell a story that their inventions came not when they were concentrating on the pieces and the parts of the physics or the chemistry? It happened when they were doing something completely and totally unrelated, walking down the street, perhaps going to sleep. And that's when the best ideas happened. It's the same process, dear ones. Compassion and love are the same. You clear all your countenance, and then you can start to have that which is a compassionate heart. And that leads, by the way, right into the ability to heal. Compassion for others is not pity. It is not feeling sorry for anyone. Compassion for another person is you pretending you are there with the answer. And so that is you in their place and not necessarily feeling what they're feeling, but going to them as though you could hug them, even long distance. You have a compassion for others where you don't necessarily do much or feel that which is them as much as you're hugging them. You have a compassion for them like you would have for your child, perhaps, who fell down and bumped their knee. It's not about healing their knee. It's about holding them and loving them so much that they would feel from you something they didn't expect, perhaps something that comes from the other side of the veil. Compassion for others, the most common thing that you might have, is not necessarily becoming empathetic with them. In fact, that might even be dangerous. If somebody is in horrible sorrow because of the loss of a loved one, and you have the ability to empathize with that can affect you. You can see this. If they're afraid, that can affect you. You can see this. But if you stand apart and your whole job is to hug them, even long distance, or to be there for them, sometimes the best compassion you can have in person is to let them talk. If you sit there and love them while they talk to you, that's the highest compassion that you could have at the moment for somebody who is in trouble. If you're doing it long distance for a group who has suffered something together, imagine hugging all of them, giving them peace. What you're sending them and hoping that they can receive with an open heart is that which you receive when you realize that you're being hugged by the Spirit, by God who knows your name. And so you might project onto them the feeling of peace and understanding so that they would get through whatever it is that they are going through. Or if you're looking at a group or a culture and you have compassion for them, you feel them being hugged through their trial so that they would have far less anxiety and would not be fearful. If you want to have compassion for the planet at this moment, as it works through the puzzle of what you've called the virus, what you want to project there is clear. Peace, understanding, lack of fear. You can do that. You can do that because you have the light that figuratively can be sent even to huge groups through the energy of your peaceful countenance and consciousness. Just lately on this planet, You have proved and continue to prove that consciousness is energy, a player in physics even. Now you know. That is going to be seen even greater as you go. That means that you, as a light worker, can have compassion for others that they can feel, that clears the field around them, that helps them to deal with what they're dealing with. Can you send compassion for the earth? Yes, you can. A group of you, even better, sending compassion. That you get through this without the fear, the anxiety, the things that will actually shorten your life if you're not careful. And that is the answer. Compassion for others on this planet, even one at a time, even planet-wide, bigger than you think, and is the true job and the talent of a light worker listening to this program. That's what you're here for. Consciousness changes this planet. Love is always the answer. And so it is.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. And I want to talk to the family. It is absolutely unique in history, in time. And there'll never come another day when the exact same souls are in the exact same room. And you all know this. And yet perhaps the profundity of it is lost on you. Or you might say, well, it's that way when I go to a movie. It is that way when I go to any meeting. But it's not. For synchronicity had its chance. Put upon you energies of love, of lesson, of learning. Even with this, there are some in the room still who do not believe that what is taking place in this chair is real. But the synchronicities are here anyway. The energies, whether they fall like seeds on barren ground, are still there. And here is the difference, dear one, that the seeds that were given to you this day are forever. And a decade from now, some of you who are unbelieving this day would have an epiphany. Or to go to that place where you would wonder if any of these things were real, those seeds will plant themselves. And you'll remember what happened today. You remember the soul 6 days old that you touched today. 6 days old. Can you imagine what that life is? What her Akash must be. Can you imagine what surges in her, the very DNA in her body? A body that the Father could lift with one hand. Profound it is. What you've done for one another this day, and some of those here still don't believe it. There are some attributes at hand regarding the protocol of moving from one-dimensional paradigm to another. And this is the study that begins this year. The recalibration of all things you thought you knew. The recalibration begins into a multi-dimensional reality paradigm. It is behavioral. It requires action. It requires belief. There will be those who will say, my life is... Thank you. I don't need to move it in any direction. Thank you. You might say, I was just here to take a look. Thank you. And if you're one of those, I will tell you this. There'll come a day when you're going to believe. For as the world moves in this direction, you continue to live in a comfortable three-dimensional paradigm, it won't be comfortable forever. And then there are those ready to move now. That is why you sit in the chair. There are those here who have been in this study you call metaphysics for many years. And then there are the ones who have only just in common, even the doubter, old souls each. The one who is the most obstinate of all of you in belief and thinks that this is a sham is the oldest soul among you. And the reason that there is the block that there is, the block of belief, comes from so many lifetimes where they have been discounted. So many lifetimes that have ended early. So many lifetimes of pain and suffering. Of pain and suffering. And some of you are sitting here and you're saying, and I'm not going to go to there anymore. I'm not going to believe that again. I'm not going to wake up. Happy where I am. I know who's here. Fear of enlightenment is what I'm speaking of. And you might say, well, that's not me, Kryon, and I know that too. There are many here, so many stages of old souldom. So let me give you a couple of hints. And this now is for those who have been in the study for a long time. The paradigm that is shifting is the souls will awaken first to the paradigm so that they may journey into that which is a multi-dimensional relationship with the Creator. As they do that, they put light upon the earth that otherwise would not be put there. The old soul is the one to awaken first. The old soul is the one who will reach out and say, I want the tools now. The old soul is the one whose ears perk up when you say, change your DNA. And there's a reason why you're so interested. It rings so true. And you remember, and you remember, and you remember. Earth was not always like this, old soul, and you know that as well. Not too long ago, as well. Not too long ago, even the scriptures told you of those holy men and women who would live hundreds of years. And you read those words and you say, this must be a metaphor. It is not. And that was only a few thousand years ago. That human beings had lifespans that were grand. DNA worked better than it does today. Before the wars of the planet. Before the energy shifted to what you see now. And so what I'm saying is that the old soul who is so interested in changing their DNA is one who remembers what it was like. Who remembers 100th birthday as the halfway point. About the modern diseases of cancer and all the other things that afflict those here. Who remember what it was like to walk through a life with energy, with spiritual knowledge. Well, I challenge you to go there. Remember it in your dreams, in your meditations, as you shut your eyes. And you get excited about it. Because that is where you're going next. And it may not be in this life, but you'll be here to see it. I like to say yet again that the entire paradigm of spirituality and the systems you thought you knew about are changing. You thought you knew about are changing. It becomes controversial. For the old soul who has awakened early in their life and has trained in this protocol called metaphysics feels they know how things work. And they don't anymore. Not like that. So I speak then not only to the old soul, but the old metaphysician. Are you willing to take and understand and be flexible with a change of energy that will rewrite what you think you knew? And there will be those still who say, God never changes. What is this about? God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. What is this about? You're saying that all the things are changing. The relationship changing and meditation is changing. And I say, yes, it is. And you will say, how is it possible? And I will say to you, God is the same yesterday, today, and forever, but the human being is not. And it's the human being who's moving off the peg of the old energy. Starting to creep slowly toward a goal some of you don't believe is even possible. Pleiadians in the room, remember, every single one of you has Pleiadian DNA, every one. You ask the questions that are so nebulous. Who were they really? What did they do? I will tell you, they lived on an earth like this. They went through a they had a free planet like this. And when they made that transition of enlightenment, it was the beginning of 1,000 years of quantum learning. When they came through the other side of that, dear ones, they could be in two places at the same time. They could have lifespans that only planets have. They could be one with Spirit. And you carry around their seeds. And the first thing they did was to come here. There is so much hiding from you. I want to give you an instruction. Dear ones, don't be afraid of the dark. There's an old paradigm that says that darkness exists on the planet, and you got to be careful of it. Some of you assign it to entities. Some of you just do what is intuitive and assign it to other human beings. Some of you even see it as a dark force, and you don't want anything to do with it, do you? If you saw it coming in the hallway, you'd turn around and go the other way, wouldn't you? I want you to forget that. I've given you these instructions before, but you have to hear it now. What you carry in you today is far superior in energy than any dark thing on the planet. It is far you as long as you are projecting light. Forget the paradigm that says that there's a darkness here or you have to be careful here. If you wish to paste that upon yourself and be careful all your life, I will say to you, you will never change. Because the paradigm is about light, and that is what is happening now. A shift that allows the individual old soul a field around them that is so magnificent and quantum that it pushes light and divinity wherever you walk. And you may not feel like a lighthouse, but that is the paradigm we started with 23 years ago. You are pushing light today. Darkness, as defined, is the absence of light. It is not a unique and separate force of its own. Do you understand this? It has no power when light is there. In fact, darkness disappears when light is around. It is not a succinct entity that creates its own power. It is simply the absence of light. If you have light, it will retreat from you. It has stopped them from moving forward because they're afraid of it. And you might say, well, that's well and good, Cromley. Oh, yes, I do. And you'll say they're very dark. Yes, they are. And I want to tell you, when you go stand among them, what happens? What happens? There's no more darkness. And for a moment, they can think differently. There is no evangelism in this process. But there is shift and there is change. For where you stand, no darkness can be. If you go to work, there can be no dark thing that touches you, and they can try all they want. And there can be manipulation, and there can be drama, and there can be emotions. Drama, and there can be emotions. But it won't be with you if you don't want it. And eventually there will be human beings who see around you something different. They'll see that you don't have an agenda. They'll see that your ego is submissive to love. Don't fear that which you make up. My partner was succinct today, and we put him through the ringer so that he could sit here with his filter open and say these things to you. Do not fear what you think is there, for it may not be there at all. Children will grow up this new age that you always hoped they would ask. No matter what their training, there'll come a time when they will soul search and ask, is God bigger than I was told? And I am giving this message to you for those in here who needed to hear it. If you're in a situation that you think is compromised spiritually, that is to say, your belief is not that of another's, and you want to know what to do in that situation, I will tell you, you sit and simply love God. And the light that you have will be seen by all. Because you don't argue, and you don't push, and you don't react. All you do is to love. And I'll tell you, there is no grander tool than this. Silence of the light worker who knows who they are. Do not be quick to respond to those who would wish to push you into an altercation of spiritual knowledge. It would be better to be quiet. Let them think they've won, and love them in the process. I think you understand what I'm saying. You hold the light. You hold all the cards. Use the tool gracefully, peacefully, silently, and with great wisdom. This is the message of the day. And if you add it all up, you'll say, why, that sounds just. Those are the attributes of the ascended masters of the planet, and you know it. And so the day comes to an end. And you will leave this place. Some of you will be changed. Others will be confused. And I will tell you that no matter what state you think you are in, we are with you, and always have been. For the system says so. We walk with you all your lives, cradle to grave. Did you see the infant today on the stage? Did you see the family around her? And I don't mean her parents. How many of you saw it? Saw it. Celebration that was there. 6 days old, and through synchronicity, she walked on this stage, and you held out your hands and healed her. Now you tell me, you think that was an accident? That is the definition of synchronicity. And some of you are here today in the same fashion. So you could sit here and hear who you are. Go from this place differently than you came. Go with us. And so it is.